I first got to experience her work live at the Soul of Yoga, for those of you who are local in San Diego. And it was at one of her binaural beats and yoga nidra experiences. And I had such a profound experience. And I then started following her and noticing just how authentically she communicates and expresses the work that she does on social media. And so when I was preparing for this program and calling in some extra bonuses and extra, support for this program, Voice of the Creatrix, she came right to me, like in my subconscious, and not subconscious. Consciously, I thought of her in the way that she works, because it's not something that I can do, that I'm trained in, and she's so expertly equipped to handle the deep inner work of the subconscious mind. Hi, it's so good to connect with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. I was just explaining how my experience when I first encountered and experienced your work, and then sharing about how we kind of came to this collaboration, this meeting, this connection. And when we were talking about kind of the themes of the program, this particular theme, the intimacy of harmony, like really jumped out at you, and as a tool to talk about how the subconscious really plays into our vibration and the layers of that. And so I do want to introduce you properly. Thank you for being here, Katya.
Thank you.
I want to, for those of you who are new to her or are on my page and are watching from far away, Katya is a clinical hypnotherapist, shamanic practitioner, meditation teacher, and trainer with a mission to guide and support highly sensitive people to transform their trauma into freedom and power. She holds degrees in neuroscience and social work, as well as esoteric readings from cultures around the world, and is committed to sharing the most effective modalities with her clients and students to support real, sustainable transformation. And I mean,
so well said. Thank you.
Zing! It's just such a pleasure I feel so drawn to your work, and would love to share anything if you have anything else to add to that.
Just that the resonance feels, I'm just really present to that, the resonance between my work and your program, because there's so much freedom and power in our voice when it can be fully expressed. And I think so much of our suffering is linked to repressing that. And so much of our lack of freedom and lack of power is locked in our voice. So I just so believe in your program that you're offering. I feel like it's so important. I don't know if it's just for women. Is it for men and women? Yeah.
For women.
So I think we women have a particular relationship with our voice. I think all people have been suppressed in that, but women in particular, it's very powerful for us to let go of those old limitations that keep us quiet and small and not expressed. And when we can work through that and be fully expressed, wow, there's just a lot of power in that. A lot of healing.
So much. And I think I'm feeling like even just my heart like expanding into that.
Yeah.
So much healing. And I'm experiencing that right now as well. And so walking through the next layer of embodying my voice and my desire. And so it's walking side by side with the experience and the teaching and doing that work as we are engaging with it, offering it to others is really where I'm at in offering this program. So
same. When you sent me the topic of, Sita had sent me an email with some of the things we're going to discuss, and I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I'm going through in my life right now. So if you want to fast track your healing, become a healer because you got to keep doing your work. But I think you make a really good point when you mention those layers, because healing is all about layers. And a brilliant friend of mine, Rachel, described our healing journey as like an upward moving spiral. And I'm holding the phone, so I usually use both hands with this demo. But on the side of that spiral is our karma, like a scar on the spiral. So every time that we ascend a higher level, gaining more information, like going deeper in our healing, we're going to meet that same issue again. And a lot of people take that as a sign that that they've failed, or they're doing it wrong, or they're going backwards. I actually think of it as we meet these karmic issues again, it's actually a sign of our forward movement, because we're able to work with it in a different way. Maybe we have more information, more skills, more resources, more support. Maybe we don't spend as much time in that place. We gain new insights. So it's a continual process, and I'll have clients say to me, and I've said to my teachers very recently too, like, when is this going to be over? It's like, no, it's not. Because there's always more levels of mastery. So it's actually very exciting. It's not like we have to be in the trenches of our healing, of like the trauma healing all the time. But yeah, we'll probably have to meet certain things over and over again, just because there's layers to healing. And we think about what kind of closes us. Trauma closes us, right? And that's where a lot of our voice and our expression gets locked and closed. If we're to just open it all right away, that's going to be very overwhelming to the system. That's not how it works. We kind of titrate. We like open a little bit, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going to close a little bit. I'm going to open more, right? It's such a process. So I just love that you're vulnerable with your own process. I always say, like, I wouldn't go to a healer that isn't like being vulnerable about their own healing work, and like sitting with teachers and stuff like that. And that's what I really respect about you, Sita. And like, that feels so in integrity and in alignment. So thank you for just being so true and real. And like, you living this is what's going to make the program like so potent, because you get it, you know?
Thank you for all of that. I love that perspective and that refreshing way to look at when the lessons that come around, and that idea of the visualization of the spiral and this upward, like, come around again. And there's things that I'm coming around again right now, and communicating my desire and standing in that. And it's like, oh, I've been here before. And now I get to choose something different. I get to work through and express my desire in a way that feels different. Yeah. I feel like sorry, go ahead.
I just love your use of the word choose, because I think that's where so much of the healing comes, is like, first you have an awareness, like when we're acting unconsciously, when our subconscious is running our program, then we're not choosing. We're just acting out of repetitive patterns. And it doesn't just change right away as soon as you like decide, like, oh, okay, here's my subconscious program. Let me just change it. I mean, yeah, that's super powerful to have new beliefs anchored into the subconscious, but we're going to be met with opportunities again to make that choice, because like every pattern is a neural pathway in the brain, right? And so patterns that have been reinforced over and over, they're like grooves in the mud that, like, think about like a truck driving through really muddy stuff. Like, if it's driven over and over and over again, it's easy, it goes right through. But these new pathways, these new choices of like, I'm going to speak my needs and feel confident in that, right? That new pathway, it's going to take some going through to make it more automatic, right? So it's like I wish I had both my hands. We come to a fork in the road, and it's like, yeah, I could go to the easy route that, my brain is so used to clamming up and being quiet and hiding, right? But now I see that old path. And I also have experience through work the new path. And now I have a choice. I can choose. And honestly, you guys, I just told my last client this, that like yesterday I chose the old path. Like I knew exactly what I was doing yesterday. I was like overwhelmed with the world, and I'm like, I'm going into my isolation bubble. And no, that's not like my highest expression. But I made the choice, like I'm just going to use an old mechanism for today. And then tomorrow I'm going to get back on, right? But we have that choice. So I can choose consciously to, to make that, to go in that new pathway. And the more times I choose that, just like you're like having this opportunity to choose interacting with desire in a new way, then those pathways in the brain strengthen, and then it becomes more automatic over time. Mm. Did I kind of went off on a tangent.
Oh, I love it so much. There was so to share, there was every time I come to my cycle, like when I'm about to bleed, which is very soon, I you know, I when I experience like my cycle feeling really easeful and restful, it's like when I'm feeling really good and like have eaten healthy and have like not, done the things that, or consumed the things that I know will lead to a more painful bleed. And and so the other day, like I'm about to bleed, and I was like, I need chips, like I'm choosing to like do this one habit that like I know, I consciously I know will lead to not feeling the best that I could possibly be when I start bleeding. But it was that moment I was like, I'm gonna choose this.
Yeah, and I think honestly there's so much healing even in making that choice that's maybe not the highest vibrational choice still. If we're in creator mode, if we're not coming from a place of victimization, like something external from me has made me be this way, and like taking full ownership, that in itself is the healing. So just owning the fact that you are a creator over your life, and yeah, maybe sometimes we create some shitty situations, like just taking that responsibility is power.
Yes. And that that connection, I love that you even said the word creator, like that you are creatrix of your life. And this the in the program, the voice is our mechanism to look into it, just as your tools, you get to look into this conscious. The voice gets to be our connection to our creative energy, and is an opportunity for us, is the catalyst for us to look at the ways in which we are connecting to creative energy flow. There's nothing else to add except that sparked, you're saying the word creator sparked that in me.
Yeah, I mean, that's when we really take ownership over that, we have power. I always say, I feel like I want to like coin this. I haven't heard anybody else say this, but well, we all know the phrase, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Well, I flip it, and I like to say, with great responsibility comes great power. This is only when we really take ownership for the fact that we are the creatrixes of our lives. Is that right? Creators of our lives. Then we have power, right? Because if I'm believing, again, that something external from me is determining everything about me, I'm going to blame, the weather and my partner and the government, then that leaves me with no power. I'm powerless. So really tuning into that energy of creator, I think, is so important for the healing process. Maybe the first most important thing, besides your willingness. I think willingness comes first, and then it's like taking responsibility. Like, all right, I'm going to look at how I've created, if I have a shitty life, I have to look at like how did I create that, right? Yeah. And I think that can be challenging sometimes. I like to honor, people with trauma who that might be triggering to, like, well, did I create my trauma? And so what I'd want to say about that is that it's not, the things that happen to us are not our faults necessarily, but it is our responsibility to do the healing work around it. You know, maybe somebody was supposed to protect us when we were young, and that sucks that they didn't. And now we're the ones that have to do that work and protect us. And there's a difference between acknowledging that we've been victimized and doing the grief work around that and the anger work and all that, and taking on the identity of a victim. Because if we are victimized and then we take on that identity, then we do select situations or distort them or provoke them to reinforce that narrative.
Yeah.
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 That's where
We do.
I think what you said is like coming back to that power, like
Mm-hmm.
that ownership comes back to the freedom. And I mean, that's right there in in what you do and how you are, and the support that you give
Mm.
is owning, owning, owning power, owning that is free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, using our voice
Yeah.
as a vehicle for that. Because if we don't speak our needs, who's going to speak for them? Unless we're in a codependent relationship, then maybe somebody is, and then there's a whole bunch of problems that come along with that.
Mm, mm, mm.
Mm.
Mm. I feel like that's a whole other conversation I want to
I know. You gotta keep it on track here.
um, yeah, and so I love the idea and the metaphor of harmonizing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're singing with someone, for those of you who are singers or watching who are interested in singing, or you can imagine, even if you haven't had the experience of like singing with another person, I'll tell you about it. So it's this like both voices are in their own vibration, like their own uniqueness, coming together to create something that they can't do alone, like this like
Mm-hmm.
union of sound, and both voices like need there's such vulnerability in harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're singing and there's maybe parts of the melody that you're not certain of, or that you're like wanting to shy away from because I don't know that note so much, like I don't know how it's going to clash with you, or feel dissonant or harmonious. And sometimes dissonant is written in, you know, when you're singing
Mm-hmm.
together. um but both parts, it's almost as if both voices need to be in their fullest, most confident way, and lean into the space where and lean into the notes that are actually a little bit more uncomfortable, or that you're not sure about, because that's the only way that you can really hear to the other person. And this like oh, we lost Katya, hopefully she'll come back on. So this idea of harmony is this both voices being fully in their power, fully in their comfort, confidence, in order to feel the magic of harmony. So, for any of you watching, would love to hear any comments or questions or anything that's landing, resonating for you right now. If there's anything surfacing as we're talking about harmony and intimacy and the subconscious and trauma work and empowering the voice, all these themes that are really being wrapped up into Voice of the Creatrix, which Katya, I'm so excited for, will be joining us for the end of the program, towards the end of the program, and offering her hypnosis and trauma expertise on how to rewire the brain for free expression. I also wanted to mention that Voice of the Creatrix begins next Thursday. So a couple logistical things. We have 3 months together. So women, we get to have a deep dive And this is an opportunity to, as you are hearing and listening, to really peel back some layers, whether it be embracing the physicality of singing, wanting to feel more at ease in projecting sound and making sound and having your own vibration, your own vibrational relationship to your voice. Ah.
Sorry.
Not to blame anything, but we are approaching the
Sorry about that, you guys. Like, what were we even talking about? Because I feel like that's probably something.
so good. I was
Yeah,
just explaining a little bit more about the program and where people can find out more information and how you are
awesome.
involved in it. So it was a great opportunity. I'd say let's dive into, we have, because I want to be conscious of time.
Yes.
And
Oh,
Katya
I
is,
did want to say
yeah.
something. Yeah, I think somebody called me and it knocked me off.
Oh, yeah.
But you mentioned the vulnerability that comes in harmony, and I thought, when I think of vulnerability, I think about intimacy, and I love that that's the title of this video. And for me, intimacy is being able to speak my truth or sing my true vibration, right? And and trust that the other person's going to receive me, that I'm not going to be rejected, and that I can receive another person's truth, and I have a commitment not to reject them. That to me is intimacy, is that level of safety. So I can see how when harmonizing in song, that, like, that vulnerability, brings us closer. It's like if I drop a no, like, you're going to pick that up. Like, you're not going to reject me for trying something new, or maybe that'll even make it better. It's this like alchemy that happens. And also, this reminds me of, like, we were talking a little bit about codependency, which is one of the things that I specialize in, because it's pretty common with people with trauma. And I really, one of my newest teachers, River Jameson, she says that she believes that everybody has some level of PTSD from living in this toxic culture, which I really believe.
Mm.
And I also think that there are potentially seeds of codependency all over the place. But the opposite of codependency is not independence. It's not being completely alone. It's interdependence, which is perfectly, there's a perfect example in that, in this harmonizing, and in being in, I love that you said, you have to be in your own vibration and then bring that to another to create something bigger. Like, it wouldn't work if you just hopped on and copied their vibration. So that came to mind when I was trying to get back on. Wanted to share that a little bit.
Whew. Yes.
Yeah.
It's such it for my work and using the voice as our way to access that. I love that idea of how singing together is this metaphor for how we are interacting in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and in relationship, and in relationship to ourselves, in relationship to our work, and in relationship to how we are using our voice to carry these messages or carry our mission or speak the voice of blank, like whatever
Mm-hmm.
that fill in the blank is, like speaking the voice of trauma or speaking the
Mm-hmm.
voice of empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that'll be a big piece of the program as well, and how we can carry forth the messages in our soul purpose with attuning our vibration.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Love for you to share is, I mean, there's so many more things. The only
Well,
thing
that'll
I
have
have
to wait
written
for the
down.
program. Join the program, right?
Join the program. Come on in. Because it's such a treat. It's really, I'm so grateful. It's like such a treat to be able to have you a part of this.
Mm.
And it is a gift. Like, it is having you as a gift for these women who are signing up for this program.
Yeah. Well,
Um, yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
That's okay. Add to it.
No, I'm complete.
Yeah, I guess like, is there anything else that you have come into contact with, like in your work or seen, in terms of how the subconscious and how trauma forms in the brain and body and experience, that like silences the voice or yeah.
Yeah. Um, so there's so many, well, let me back up. Let me first say that only 10% of our experience is conscious. And in fact, I recently read that it's 5%.
I saw.
So that's, yeah, so that's 90 to 95% of our experience is in the subconscious and the unconscious. And that includes our emotions, our deep intentions and motivations, you know, our trauma often, and also a lot of our superpower, you know, is kind of under that level of consciousness. And this is where like self-sabotage can come in, because consciously you might say that, you know, you want to, let's say consciously, I know I want to be a speaker, right? And I want to be a teacher, and I want to, you know, that's my purpose. And yet, if in the subconscious there's some negative programming around using your voice, then that's going to manifest. And but it's subconscious, so it can seem kind of confusing, right? This, you know, with love too, right? Like I want to be in a loving partnership, and then maybe I'm gonna go sabotage it, or I want to eat healthy, but then I'm going to sabotage it. So I think it's important to recognize that we have like multiple parts working, and we want to expand our consciousness in order to access that information. So when something happens to us, and a trauma is really any moment that we have to go into protection mode. And when we do that, like we physically often, and then also energetically will contract and close. And then our energy gets kind of stuck in our body and in that timeline. And at that moment, there is a conclusion that is made about ourselves or about the world. And then from that belief, we make a decision about how to behave. And that carries forward. And then this is programmed in usually before the age of 7. Before the age of 7, we're always in the subconscious state, mind state. So we're just constantly like downloading information, right? And then because let's say I have something that happened to me. Maybe I was crying. Something was really upsetting to me, and I was crying, and I was told to stop crying. So then maybe I made a belief. I made that mean that my emotions are bad, and that if I speak, I'm going to get in trouble. If I make noise, I'm going to get in trouble. So if that's already in me by the age of 3, and then, you know, life goes on, I'm going to keep selecting and then distorting and provoking situations that will continue to reinforce that until I bring it up to the level of consciousness and can work with it. So then maybe I'm 16 and I'm on the debate team and I choke, right? It's just a reinforcement of an original negative belief. And I've come across so many negative imprints about voice and about emotions, and I think that they're related. Our voice is really related to so much, you know. It's related to our needs. Again, how am I going to get my needs met if I can't speak what they are? People can't mind read me, you know. It's related to my expression of my emotions often. It's related to my purpose in the world. You know, a lot of people who are living really dissatisfied lives, you know, have trouble speaking their desires or even owning their desires. But if we can't even speak our desire to ourselves or to God or whomever, whatever it is that larger force, then, you know, it's going to be hard to put that out into the world. And we as women get a lot of negative imprints around our voice. I think all children, you know, I think one of the biggest crimes against humanity is what we do to young boys and tell them that boys aren't meant to cry. You know, I mean, that creates a lot of toxic masculinity. But for women, I mean, we're also taught, you know, girls are seen, not heard, right? You know, be a lady. What does that mean? And just in all the subtle ways, you know, we receive a lot of messages from our family, from our culture, from our community, from the church. You know, they don't have to be explicit. It's not necessarily that somebody sat you down and said, like, it's not safe for you to use your voice. But based on things that happen, we'll make that from a childlike mind. You know, if I'm going to get in trouble or get yelled at or get punished for having an emotional expression and using my voice, I'm going to make some conclusion about that. So so I work with hypnotherapy and other trance type therapies, and the value of that is that it helps us to go underneath the level of that, just that 10% conscious mind, and helps to relax. It's all about relaxation, because again, if something happened, I'm going into constriction mode and I never really had the time or the space to unravel that and allow that energy to be expressed, and then figure out what were those negative beliefs, you know, it's going to be stuck there. So we have to first start just the unraveling, is just the relaxation. That's essentially what hypnosis is. It's deep relaxation. It's like meditation with a goal. And the goal is to release some limiting programs and to even identify what they are. So, yeah, let me, if there's anything else I want to say about that. Oh, these beliefs that we take on are meant for survival, right? Like, I won't be safe if I sing, right? I had one client that would like get in trouble for like singing and dancing, because like, I heard you say that rest and digest, and I think that that's absolutely key. And a lot of the work that which I'll do in the program, and we won't have time to do that here, but we have to digest and release emotional energy. You know, I mean, just like food, you think about how many times you go to the bathroom a day. Okay, are you digesting your emotional energy to the same degree? No. And often it's our voice that is part of that expression, you know, whether it's like screaming into a pillow or like saying my deepest fears or whatever it is, but the voice is part of that. And again, I want to give credit to Diamond and River Jameson for coming up with this metaphor, but they describe these blocks in our lives like a wall, like a brick wall. And the bricks are the individual limiting beliefs, like it's not safe to be seen, or I'm going to get in trouble if I speak, or my needs aren't important, right? Those are the beliefs. And the mortar that holds that together is the emotional energy. So it's not enough to just find the beliefs and change that. I mean, we have to release that emotion, digest it, eliminate, or it's not that we're rejecting it, it's more of an embracement, but it's a passing through, right? And then the bricks start to fall and we can pick them up and see what they are, and then even rewrite them. So we'll do a little bit of that process today, like in a short hypnosis, just to get you into that deeply relaxed, safe place to start coming up with new beliefs around voice, and then we'll build on that in terms of having more release and more focused on what your particular negative beliefs are around voice when we do the work in the group together. Sound good?
So good.
Okay.
I'm digesting that visualization. I really love framing it in that frame.
Yeah, brilliant. Like, and so often we approach healing by just trying to address one or the other. Energy, emotions as energy, or thoughts, but it has to be done together for it to be really sustainable and to take a deeper hold. And even when we do that, it's always still more layers, you know, but I found that that's the most efficient way to start to shift our consciousness.
Ready.
Yeah, so I would love to just walk you guys through a very simple relaxation. Again, because if we're not relaxed, we can't change anything. So this is really the first step, and it'll set you up for having a beautiful rest of the day, hopefully. Sound good?
So good.
Okay, yay. Let's pray on all of the ancestors and the angels and the gods that I don't get a phone call during this, because I don't know how that would work.
I'm gonna bubble you.
I'm gonna bubble. Who's the archangel of technology? Is there one? I don't know. I'm gonna ask all of
If
all
for
of our
some reason, yes, if for some
yeah.
reason that happens, we can record it and post
Okay,
it,
that would be
or
great. That would
like
be
we'll
perfect.
prepare so that it doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you lose my voice for more than a few minutes, then you can just go ahead and open your eyes and come back into the space. But for now, I'm going to invite everybody who's with us right now, or even watching on the recording, to go ahead and close your eyes and let yourself be comfortable here. So sitting back in your chair, or maybe even lying down. And just take a moment to check in with yourself here and notice what's going on in your body, in your mind, in your heart. And then notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how much tension that you're currently experiencing. There's no need to judge it or even come up with an explanation. Just notice, how tense am I right now from 0 to 10? And just noting that and then letting it go. Taking a nice deep belly breath in. Pausing at the top, and as you exhale, feel a wave of relaxation washing down from your head to your toes. A couple more nice deep breaths. With each exhale, dropping already a little deeper into relaxation. And just reminding yourself here, I am safe. I am calm. I am supported. And I choose to be here. Now I want everyone to think about, maybe visualize your favorite color. The most beautiful color that you know, your favorite color. And now I want you to experience that beautiful color traveling from the center of the universe, traveling towards you now. That beautiful color traveling from the center of the universe through space and time, coming towards you now, and it's landing right here at the top of your head. Breathing in, see that color brighten, and as you exhale like a waterfall, it starts to wash through and around your body. And just letting that beautiful color, your favorite color, move through you with each exhale, washing you. It's a very healing color. And just let it start to wash away any tension, anything that doesn't serve you in this moment. And this color, it's very healing, and it's kind of magical. In every place that in your body it finds any tension, it starts to surround it. And like a cosmic peroxide, it bubbles and it dissolves any tension in your body. Keep inhaling fully. With each exhale, more of this beautiful healing color, your favorite color, washing through your body. In any place that it finds tension, like a cosmic peroxide, it just bubbles and dissolves it away. Until you find yourself feeling clear and calm. Beautiful. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. I am clear. I am calm. Now go ahead and visualize yourself on top of a staircase. It could be any kind of staircase. Notice the details. Maybe it's sleek and simple, or perhaps it's fancy and ornate. You're standing at the top of the staircase, and there are 10 levels going down, all the way down to the bottom of relaxation. You're on level number 10. Go ahead and step down to level number 9. And as you go deeper and deeper, you become more and more relaxed. Just letting go of any thoughts and concerns. Giving yourself permission to relax. You're moving on down to level number 8. Relaxing your mind as well as your body. Calm and relaxed. Calm and relaxed. And anytime conscious thoughts come into your mind, just go back to those words, calm and relax, to quiet your thoughts. Moving down to level number 7. The deeper you go, the better you feel. Further and further into relaxation. Going down to level number 6. Any sounds that you hear, just the everyday sounds of living. They don't disturb or distract you in any way. In fact, every sound that you hear takes you deeper and deeper into relaxation. Stepping down to level number 5, you're halfway down now. Feel all the muscles in your body loose and limp, just releasing and melting into the support beneath you. Moving on down to level number 4, releasing, relaxing, and letting go. Moving down to level number 3. When you get down to level number 1, you'll be all the way at the bottom of relaxation. Going down to level number 2. Calm and relaxed. Calm and relaxed. And moving down now to level number 1. Down to the very bottom of relaxation. And right here at the bottom, you see there's a golden door. Open that door and step through to a beautiful secret garden. This is your special secret garden that only you know about. Step through and begin to explore this beautiful place. Look around, notice everything that you see, the colors, the shapes, the textures, what kind of flowers and plants, maybe animals. Notice what you hear in this beautiful garden. Perhaps there's a sound of water, buzzing bees, the breeze moving gently through the trees. Notice your favorite aromas here, the fresh smell of earth, the clean air. You can feel that air on your skin.